Hello everybody, and welcome to my very first Extreme Cuisine episode. As I've mentioned before, I am a major foodie, and as such, I am an extremely adventurous person when it comes to trying out new things. Whenever I go to a new restaurant, the first things I do is I scan the menu looking for the most unique thing that I have not tried yet, and that's the thing that I go for. I don't just love food, I love exciting food. The types of dishes that push the envelope, that think outside of the box. Those are the things that really excite me when it comes to trying out new dishes. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. And since I am a major foodie, I also enjoy cooking. And when I cook for people, I try to introduce them to some of the most unique dishes that I can come up with. I try to expose my friends to things that they may otherwise never have had the opportunity to try. And that's why I decided to start making these extreme cuisine videos, because I wanted to share with you guys some of my personal favorite recipes that I thought are just really cool to try. So based on the title, I know what you guys are thinking. Bacon and chocolate. Really? Believe it or not, combining bacon with chocolate is becoming more and more of a trend over the last few years. In fact, combining sweet food like chocolate with savory food has been going on for quite some time. For example, the traditional Mexican recipe, chicken mole, one of my personal favorites, combines your chocolate with your chicken. The saltiness of the bacon and the sweetness of the chocolate, salty and sweet, can be a miraculous combination. If you've ever watched one of those dessert cooking shows, like Cupcake Wars, you will have seen people combining chocolate with things like bacon, or chocolate with hot peppers, or even chocolate with curry. I mean, come on now. Almost everyone loves bacon, and almost everyone loves chocolate. Why not put them together? I think most of us are just so used to identifying foods as just sweet or just salty or just savory. But when you combine two extreme flavors together, flavors that you may not be used to tasting at the same time, you might be pleasantly surprised at the outcome of that combination. So for my very first episode, I wanted to do something that was very easy to make and something that I can almost guarantee that most of your friends have never had, but would be intrigued and would be very curious to give it a try. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to make dark chocolate bacon brownies.
Alright everyone, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is prepare the bacon. Now, you can pretty much cook the bacon with whatever method you are most comfortable with. I know most people traditionally tend to cook their bacon on the stovetop, on a skillet. Some people even swear to cooking their bacon in the microwave. And like I said, if it works for you, go ahead and knock yourself out. I'm sure there are directions online if you really want to attempt cooking your bacon in a microwave. For me, I actually find it the easiest cooking my bacon in the oven. I start by preheating my oven to 375 degrees. And what I typically do is I take a baking sheet and I line it with aluminum foil so that it's a lot easier to clean up afterwards. And then pretty much I arrange the bacon slices on the foil, keeping them about, I'd say an inch to half an inch apart. And I pop them into the oven for about, I'd say 15 or 20 minutes. And I typically take them out to turn them over about halfway in between the cooking time. You pretty much want to cook them until the bacon is fairly crunchy. And I would definitely keep an eye on them over the last several minutes just to make sure that they don't burn. The timing obviously really is dependent on your individual ovens. It might take some practice to figure out exactly how long it would take to cook the perfect bacon. Anyway, for this recipe I tend to use an entire package. Once all your bacon has been cooked, you want to set aside about 4 to 6 pieces, because what you're going to do is you're going to cut them into about 1-inch pieces. You're going to want a single piece per brownie, so depending what your pan size is and how you end up planning on cutting them, be sure that you have a 1-inch piece of bacon for every single brownie. And once you're done with that, set those pieces aside. I typically just keep them into a Ziploc bag if I'm not going to be using them immediately. And for the rest of the bacon, you are going to chop them into tiny pieces. I actually have a manual chopper here, which I will be loading. And we're just going to give it a few tugs on the cord to get them going. And your bacon pieces should be, pretty comparable to bacon bits that you might sprinkle over a salad or something. Set those bacon pieces aside for a second, because now you're going to make the brownies. Now, for this video, I am actually going to be baking some brownies from a mix in a box, Duncan Hines dark chocolate. But honestly, you are more than welcome to create your own brownies from scratch. Whatever dark chocolate brownie recipe that you may already have, or you may end up finding in a cookbook or online, that is perfectly fine. I purposely wanted to start with this recipe because it's a recipe that I know that can be done by both novices and experts alike. So if you're a beginning baker and feel a lot more comfortable, using brownie mix as opposed to making everything from scratch, there's no shame in that whatsoever. Do whatever it is that you are most comfortable with. I will not tell anyone. For this particular mix, I will be following the directions for cake-like brownies. There's also directions for fudgy brownies on the box. So I'll be putting in 2 eggs. I will beat those up for a bit there. And then we're going to add 1/3 cup of water. My apologies, I actually do not have a liquid measuring cup. I know it's blasphemous, but so I'm actually using a dry measuring cup, but it's better than nothing. And then I am going to be putting in 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. For this particular video, I am actually using coconut oil, but you can definitely just use olive oil or corn oil or canola oil or whatever kind of oil you want. I just enjoy baking with coconut oil because I find that it tastes slightly better than some of the other oils that I end up using for baking. Anyway, you combine all of the liquid ingredients together, and then we are going to pour in our brownie mix powder. Then we're going to combine the dry ingredients with the liquid ingredients, and by combine I mean don't overmix the batter, because I find that if you overmix the batter too much, the brownies come out a little hard, and you don't necessarily want that. So I am going to slowly mix the ingredients together until the color is about uniform. You should get a nice dark chocolate color. And once you reach that point, go ahead and take those tiny bits of bacon that you had chopped up and combine them into the batter as well, slowly. Again, use caution not to overmix the batter. Once all of those ingredients are combined, you are finally ready to take your pan, grease it up. I'm using Pam. And then go ahead and proceed to pour the batter into the pan. Once you're done with that, obviously, pop it into the oven. For this particular brownie mix, the oven has been preheated to 350 degrees. The cooking time is dependent on your pan size. For this particular mix, 13-inch by 9-inch for 25 to 28 minutes, 9 by 9 inches for 36 to 40 minutes, 8 by 8 for 38 to 41 minutes. Once the brownies are done, take them out of the oven and let them cool. So here we have our brownies out of the oven, and they've already been cut up into squares. But we're not completely done with these yet. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take some cream cheese frosting. Now again, you are more than welcome to create your own cream cheese frosting from scratch. There are plenty of recipes out there. But again, I wanted to do a recipe that both experts and the novices can bake. So if you are more comfortable just buying the cream cheese frosting from the store, by all means, go for it. Simply take some of that cream cheese frosting and spread it over top of the brownies. Alright. Then, our next secret ingredient is sea salt. That's right, sea salt. This will add a touch more saltiness to your brownies and just give it that extra kick that you need to combine those salty and sweet flavors together. Just sprinkle a bit of that sea salt over top of each brownie. And then, last but not least, do you remember those 1-inch pieces of bacon that we had set aside? You're going to take that 1-inch piece and you're going to stick it on top of the brownie as a little garnish. And there you have it. Dark chocolate bacon brownies.
Keep in mind that brownies aren't the only baked goods that you can put bacon into. I have a bunch of friends who swear by their chocolate chip bacon cookies. There's also a few bakeries that I've been to that have served maple glazed bacon donuts, which are fantastic. So I dare you to be creative, experiment, see what works, see what doesn't work. That's really part of the fun of cooking, is trying out new things, and sometimes they work, and sometimes you might end up with something that doesn't work so well. But that's part of the thrill of cooking. So I hope you give this recipe a try, whether you go the easy bake route or the from scratch route. And if you do try this recipe, please let me know what you think and what your friends think. So yeah, thank you again for watching, and until next time, love yourselves and love each other.